I'm James Harrell. I'm a physician, but one of the things I remember so well was what a great experience it was to have people like those helicopter pilots. But every once in a while, they said, okay, mass casualties are coming in. And they had such a good setup because our little hospital had about, 30 or 40 beds, but there was an evac hospital 3 or 4 blocks down that could take care of anything that came in. You know, they had the surgical specialties there. And we were the emergency room, basically, is what it was. And we had the number of people there to take care of the wounded. But the real saving grace was the helicopter pilot. And they would fly into anything to get one U.S. litter, meaning a guy on a stretcher, he couldn't walk. They would go in to get them. And they could get them to us where we could be very effective in helping them, medically speaking. You could take the people coming in off the helicopter on stretchers, and you walk into the emergency room area and they had sawhorses sitting there. And they just put those stretchers right on a sawhorse you're working on. And the building was tin, and anything could penetrate that. One night, we were watching a movie. It was probably about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and they had a movie out there on a big screen. And all of a sudden, I saw a little cone. It looked like a little fireworks. It went up just a little bit. What was that? And all of a sudden, the one word in English that you never, ever, ever forget has a new meaning when somebody screamed, incoming. Word came in, mass casualties were coming in. So all the doctors left and we went back to the emergency room. Nothing happened. Nobody was coming in. So I went over to the communication bunker, which was right next door to that, and went in, and I could now hear the communication taking place between the helicopter pilots, things like that, because this was the center where all the medevacs went out for the whole 25,000 guys in our area. And the Saigon River was probably about 5 miles away from us. And the next thing I heard, I was listening to the radio, and the second helicopter up above, never forget the guy's name who was flying it, Fernandez. He said, Fernandez, they got your fuel tank. Fuel is pouring out as he was taking off. He said, your helicopter's gonna explode. Set down the Saigon River, and I'll come in, we'll get as many out as we can. Because there's no way you can get everybody out of when the helicopter's in the river and you're trying to transfer people from one helicopter to another. But he said, I'll get as many of you out as you can. Radio went hit. I thought, he blew it. And what seemed like forever, he came back on, he says, I'm going back to Kuchi. So I went out and told the guys, hey, they're coming. And we got out and you could see them coming over the horizon, 2 helicopters. They sat down at the airfield where we were just down from them, next to the fire engine. And the other guy brought him into us. And it was just they would fly into anything to get a U.S. soldier. But special, I think, it was just an honor and a privilege to be there to help those guys who were really hurt. We had the best troops in the world.